This is my sketch illustration of Deck from Predator Badlands, and today I'm going to guide you through all the steps so that you could draw this yourself. So grab pencil and paper and let's get started. Welcome back everyone, and thanks for joining me today. For this lesson I'm going to be drawing with this 0.7mm mechanical pencil with a 2B graphite stick. Now if you don't have a mechanical pencil, anything you have around the house will work just fine. Now the first thing we're going to do is break down the basic shape and proportions of our portrait before we get into the details. So let's start by sketching a line coming down the center of our page. Starting from the very top of the middle. Just going to lightly work my way down towards the bottom. Now let's move up to the top in the center. Draw another line going across from left to right. Now I want to use these two lines to help us create a large circle in the center of our page to define the size of the head. So let's start from the center. We're going to move up to right about here. Let's mark off the top of the head. Let's measure that distance from the center down towards the bottom and do the same thing. And then we'll repeat that across this horizontal line. Measure the distance from the center towards the left and then towards the right. Let's connect the center point of each mark with a curve to create our circle. So we're going to start with the top left and just work our way around. And we can be quite rough with this circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just using this as a guide. And just go back and just smooth this out as best we can. Let's add another set of guidelines coming down the side of our circle. Again, starting with the left side and then the right. Now many of you might be tempted to use rulers to create these guidelines, but I encourage you to use your freehand. This will help loosen up your arm and also prevent your drawing from looking too stiff. Now from here we're going to start adding some guidelines. Let's start from the center. We're going to add the widow's peak. From the center, let's draw a straight angle line going up and then out toward the left side. So this point right here is halfway along this curve. And let's do the same thing on the right. Now I'm going to add a gap in between the eyes. So from the center line, let's move out toward the left. So right about here, draw a straight line coming down. Just going to pull that all the way down toward the bottom. And I'll measure that same distance over towards the right and do the same thing. Now with this portrait, I'm just going to tilt the head forward. So the eyes are going to sit along the bottom half of our circle. So start right about here, just approximate this distance, going across from left to right. Let's take these 2 points here and draw a straight angle line going out towards the side of our circle. And this is going to be the edge of the brow. And then from these 2 points, we're going to add the brow, just curving this in and then up, just adding a fold. Let's add one more curve in the center. Now we're going to go back to these 2 points. We're going to draw a circle for the base of the tusks on either side. And then from the outside of the circles, draw a straight line coming down towards the bottom of the mouth. And then here, we're going to draw another circle for the bottom tusks. Let's connect the bottom with a straight line. From the bottom of these circles, draw a straight angle line coming down and out towards the jaw. Now right here, we draw a slightly larger circle along the ends, just pulling these up. Let's go back to the side of our head, draw a straight angle line coming down and then out, in towards the side of that bottom circle. Let's follow this eye line towards the side of the head, just going to bend the shoulders, going out and then down. Now let's go back up to the top. We're going to add some volume to the hair. From these 2 lines, we're going to bump this up, go across, and then down. Now we're going to go back to the eyes and add some more detail. Let's follow this line going up to right about here. Draw a straight line going across the top, line that up on the right. Now underneath, we're going to draw a half circle coming down and up for the iris. Let's go to the center and add a small black dot for the pupils. Let's follow the brow going up, bend this out, and then down. Now with our rough sketch in place, I want to go back and clean this up by erasing some of these guidelines. This will help us get a better look at our proportions and make adjustments if we need to. And once we finish cleaning up our drawing, I'm going to go back to the eyes and start adding some micro details. And we can also modify the shapes if we need to. So I'm going to start with the inside edge of the brow. And here we want to continue to add some more folds and wrinkles. Going across towards the inside. And just working our way down along the side of the nose. Now let's work our way across the top of the brow. I'm going to give this a curve. Now along the top edge, I'm just going to add some folds and wrinkles. Going up toward the top. Bend this up toward the top. Now along the side, we continue to add some more wrinkles and folds. So you see that we're just layering them in behind. Come down towards the corner of the eye. Let's go back to the eyelid, and it's up and then out. Draw the bottom of the iris underneath. I'm also going to tuck the pupil underneath the eyelid, making it a little bit bigger. Now we're just going to work our way across the bottom of the eye. I'm just going to darken this up. And again, just adding some more fold along the side. Let's continue to add some more wrinkles, coming around the eye along the base, and then just working our way in towards the center. Just going to dip this down. Also want to add a little bit of a seam in the center, coming down the middle. Wrinkles going out towards the side. Let's add some more detail to that tusk. So around the circle, just going to surround the tooth, dip this down the middle, and around the side. Now these circles, we just want to draw a light line, just connecting them with a straight angled line. And this will be the guide for the teeth. From the outside, bend the tooth in towards the center, towards a point. And we can offset this. So some of these teeth are going to be a little bit shorter. Add some more flesh in the middle. And right here, just going to bend the skin, going around and then down. Draw that bottom tooth. Now this one, I'm just going to pull this up. Going up underneath. Let's make this one a little bit shorter and just broken on the end. Add that skin and flesh around the side. Add some wrinkles across the bottom. Now there's these teeth across the bottom, these little sharp points. I'm going to add 3 of them going across the middle. Just going to add a fold across the cheekbones. And then from here, we're just going to add some more shape to the jaw. Bending this out, come in. Now with the head, I just want to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to continue going around and just bulk out the side along the top. It goes higher along the top. And I'm just going to move that widow's peak up a little bit higher. And you can go back and just clean that up. Now from the side of the temples, we're going to add a dip. We're going to pull this in and then out along the side. And now we'll go in and start adding some contrast to our drawing. Again, starting back at the eyes. And I can see that I'm applying some thick and thin lines. So some thicker lines around the shadow areas across the bottom of each curve and shape. Now I want to switch to my thicker pencil. This is my 0.9mm. I'm just going to darken up the areas around the iris and pupil, and then just gradually and subtly fade that down towards the bottom. And we want to go really dark around the eyes. And continue to add some more wrinkles in between. Just those micro details. You can probably see that by starting off with a rough sketch and proportions first, you get a much more accurate representation of the character. I'm just going to darken up the inside of the mouth going around the teeth. And I'm just going to go a shade lighter along the outside. So just putting a little bit less pressure on a pencil. Let's go back to the center and just work our way around the hair. Just got these little scales going across the center in the middle. Just working our way across these lines. I'm just going to fade that out towards the top. I'm going to bend this out toward the side. And then we're going to add those braids. Starting from the center, just going to darken this up. Fade that up towards the top. Also add some thickness along the outside. just going to add a little bit of loose detail across the shoulders and neck area. And I'm just going to bring some of those braids coming down the left side of the head. Now going back, I'm just going to add some more contrast to our drawing. Again, using the 0.9mm pencil. Now I'm going to use the side edge of my 2mm pencil and start adding some soft shadows across the face. So I'm just going to start with the inside of the brow. And the lights come from the top of our characters coming across. So the highlights will sit along the top edge of each shape with the shadows across the bottom. So again, just going to feather the darkness around the eyes going out. And now this bone across the cheeks is going to cast a shadow coming down. So we want to go darker across the top and then feather that down towards the bottom to give a little bit of distance. And the head's going to cast a shadow across the neck area. And we're going to darken up each of these braids across the bottom and just fade that up. This will help us create a nice little highlight across the top edge. And from the top, I'm just going to fade that down. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of texture across the forehead. Just these curves going across. Now this is the base of that texture. I'm just going to layer some detail texture on top after. Now starting from that center seam, I'm just going to add these wrinkles going across the forehead. So I'm just going to fade these out towards the side. And for the outside, we're just going to work our way in. I'm just going to layer some spots on top. Now, as I get closer to the end of my drawing, I'm just going to tighten up my shadows and details, and always be sure to sign my artwork, and that's pretty much it. There's a sketch illustration of Deck from Predator Badlands. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please be sure to subscribe because I'm posting new lessons every single week. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.